What's up, everybody? Welcome back to In the Holler. We got you today. So, Shaun, we're going to be talking about an update on your car. And we're just going to go from there, you know what I mean? I know a lot of people are interested in what's going on with the car. So, yeah, let's go and start off with that.
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Nothing?
No. As of right now, we're just waiting on car parts. Put it together. We're redoing the brakes right now, repainting the calipers. Because if anyone, if you look at a picture or a car like mine from 2018, newer, the STIs, the brake calipers are like a neon green, like a neon yellowish, greenish color. And a lot of people like them. And at first I did, but it's like the only green part of the car. So it looks stupid.
Looks out of place.
It's definitely out of place. So we sanding them down. We're painting them red to match some of the accents around it and stuff. And then I just have to decide if the lettering on the calipers are going to be like black with the red or white with the red. So.
Wait, I think the white would look pretty cool.
See, the earlier models...
Or if you do if you do like a white with a black border around the white...
See, now you're getting in, too complicated.
Way too complicated.
Yeah, so the older ones, they were red calipers with white lettering that just said Subaru.
Yeah.
But I don't, it'd kind of be the same concept, because that would be the only white on the car. Because it's black rims, blue paint, black and red interior. So I feel like the red and black would look more in place.
Yeah.
But it's going to be harder to see behind the black rims.
True.
So the white would pop more so you could actually see it. So I'm doing some testing and some looking and stuff. But
because you're not buying the actual stencils. You're actually be doing it by yourself.
You can spend $17 on some stencils that you just stick on there and then you spray paint the letters and then clear coat your calipers. Or you can spend $20 on 4 stickers and you just stick the stickers on there and you can clear coat them or not. It's up to you. I'm not spending $15-20 on something I'm literally going to use once. Yeah. Not when I can make my own stencil for nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I know you were talking to me a little bit today. You're going to go buy some motor parts here soon.
Yeah. So I found some stuff. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna buy first. Because I found a good deal on some internal motor stuff. I found a good deal on a block and heads, which I need. I need the heads more than I do the block, but just having both would be nice.
Yeah.
So
I know you can't wait to get that thing on the road.
Yeah.
I know last video we talked, you said you're going to probably bawl your eyes out.
Yeah.
Soft hands.
just an FYI, I sounded super sad when I was talking about that. I wasn't. I was literally in the middle of having allergies. So that whole where it literally sounded like I was about to start crying. No, I was trying to stop myself from coughing and sneezing.
So you covered it up.
So I was just oh man, I probably sound horrible, which I probably still sound very congested. Excuse me, guys. But yeah, we're starting to come to the end of it. So hopefully here soon I can...
I know one thing. PA weather.
Dude.
We've been having cold, hot, muggy, back to snowing.
Yeah, it's supposed to snow Monday and Tuesday.
And the last 2 days at work have been
dude, door
muggy.
Open, furnace off, just...
But I don't know, it got muggy.
Today was nice. Yesterday was super
best.
muggy, yeah, but today was pretty nice.
That's just PA weather for you. It was literally snowing last week, I think. Wasn't it? Or was it 2 weeks ago?
No, it was 2 weeks ago. Last week it was just raining a lot.
Yeah.
Which this week it rained a lot.
But you go from it's snowing to us setting up fans in the shop because working in a metal building, it gets pretty hot in there.
Yeah, especially when you have that furnace going and then it sucks.
It does. But you know the weird thing about that furnace at the shop? The weird thing, it blows cold air because I'm the one right in front of it. And it's blowing cold air.
Well, you got to think
But it heats the shop up.
It's only set to 65, so it's not really gonna feel. It's gonna feel cool. It's not gonna feel hot.
It
Now,
feels
like,
more like a fan to me.
If it was during the winter, then it'd probably be set to like 75.
It's always set to 75 in the winter.
So it would obviously be blowing hot air.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. These last couple of days at work, I've just been like,
Always on your phone.
Always on your phone. I know.
I am so sorry, guys. I'm exhausted. I know Joe's exhausted. I'm
We've
exhausted.
had a long week.
It's been a rough week, both physically and mentally.
Yeah. It really has been.
It was one of those weeks, that's for sure. But we got through it. It's Friday.
I feel like if you're a blue collar, you always have those weeks.
Yeah, by Friday, you're just like,
yeah,
I'm over it.
I'm over it. I want to go home. I want to relax. Just want to get out.
Some guys can relax and do stuff, but you know, everyone else has that honey to-do list that needs to get done. Like you have yours that you definitely need to get done. So.
Yeah, well, with the old lady gone, I know some people are gonna be like, you're only 22 and you're saying old lady. I've heard it my whole life, so don't judge me on that part. The old lady and all the ladies in the church are off for ladies retreat.
Mm-hmm.
So the boys are holding down the fort. I already cleaned the living room and dining room. I have to clean the kitchen and bathroom and get to my room and the kids' room, and there's a lot to do. I just want to surprise my girl with a nice clean house, you know.
I ain't gotta do nothing.
Just worry about getting your carpet together.
I gotta worry about me, myself, and I.
Me, yourself, and I.
Yeah. So.
Wait, you worried about me?
You got it. You're fine. You're an adult. You're a big boy. No, like, see, I don't have to worry about like doing any of that stuff. Like, I don't have a if I have a honey to-do list, it's because I made it myself. It's not a honey to-do list. It's a, all right, buddy, this is your to-do list. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Now, like, obviously, like, if I had someone and she gave me a honey to-do list, I would do it. But then again, I would look at that list and I'd be like,
does that really need to get done? Why do I have to do that? No.
I just did that yesterday. Why do I have to do it again today?
Yeah, why? Or like, man, I just worked a long day. I don't want to go out and mow the lawn and walk even more.
No, I would mow the lawn. I don't mind mowing grass. But like, I would look at the floor and be like, I just swept 2 days ago.
Like,
I don't need to sweep again. No, I wouldn't do that. I used to the old apartment. I swept like every day. But then again, we had white carpet with a black dog.
And you're running. And you're trying to keep.
Well, not only that, it was always the dog shed like crazy.
Yeah.
So black fur all over the white carpet you saw 24/7.
Yeah.
And then it always seemed like we were just having people over, which I didn't care. It's just we became friends with our downstairs neighbor, and they were always coming up just like for dinner, just to hang out, to chill. So obviously, I don't want them rolling around. And
yeah,
especially considering our one downstairs neighbor, he was allergic to dogs.
Oh.
So anytime they came up, I would make sure like the whole house was vacuumed, and then the dog stayed in our room.
Yeah, just to keep the distance from getting sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't care. Like, there was sometimes like he would be like, "Oh yeah, you can litter out, it's fine," but it was just like a respectful thing out of him, like for him. So
yeah.
But yeah, when I had a honey to-do list, I would do it.
Yeah. Would you complain sometimes?
I would complain if I did the same thing like the day before.
Yeah.
Like, I would do a sink full of dishes. I'd go to work, come home, sink full of dishes, and I'm like,
didn't I just do those?
Like, I literally remember just washing that before I left for work.
I know.
How was it back in the sink already?
You know, out of all the household jobs, I do not like doing dishes. I do not like doing dishes.
I don't mind doing dishes. It's when there's a lot of dishes. When you just sit there and like, I'll do them tomorrow. I'll do them tomorrow. And the next thing you know, you have both sides of your sink are full of dishes, and you're like, when I created more work for myself.
Yeah.
It's harder. It's going to take longer. Great.
And your hands are going to get all soggy. Oh, I hate that.
Dude,
oh,
like when you get the old wrinkly hands. Oh.
Then sometimes if you like don't do them for a long time and it's just sitting in the like, I feel like all guys do this. Fill the sink up with hot water, put the plates and like cups and silverware in there, and just
yeah, you just let it soak.
It's soaking.
It's soaking.
It's soaking. It's cleaning it up. I'll get it.
Do you know why your fingers and toes and stuff get all wrinkly?
I don't know if I want to know.
No, it's it's a legit scientific reason.
So,
so your fingers become all wrinkly and stuff. It's so you can have better grip on things underwater. Yeah, you can look it up. So your fingers, when they get all pruny, like your hands, when they get all pruny and waterlogged, it's so you can have better grip for things
because you wouldn't have
underwater.
grip if your hands were just like this.
Yeah.
What the heck? I'm sorry, I had a big yawn while I was... Oh my goodness.
And then your toes do it so they can have more grip when you're walking underwater and stepping on stuff.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
There's your guys' wild fact of the day.
Wild fact, yeah.
Just out there fact, yeah.
Yeah. Well, talk about water. Shaun doesn't like talking about it because I constantly been watching videos on it.
Tomorrow is the first day of trout season.
It's the first day of trout, meaning you can fish anywhere you want starting tomorrow.
So, that means you're going to stop talking about fishing, right?
Yes.
All right, good. Oh.
Honestly, you might hear a couple videos because I honestly enjoy watching fishing videos. Like, I honestly enjoy it. Like,
as long as, like, if I hear it over the music playing in the shop, then I have a problem with it.
Yeah, I know.
Because then I got to turn my music up, then you turn your video up, and it's a back and forth. The next thing I know, we're both getting yelled at because Debbie can't hear when the phone rings.
Yeah.
Like, she can hear when the phone rings, but then my music's too loud because it's on the speaker. And I got to turn it down because she can't hear the phone call.
Yeah.
So, as long as it's not a back and forth battle between us, we'll be okay.
Yeah. But dude, I can't wait. Like, Shaun's been, like, wanting to kick me.
Stab him with a screwdriver.
Yeah, because I've been talking about it so much.
See,
it kind of doesn't help because every time I'm in there, either Jim or Randy, like, we talk about fishing. We talk about it. Like, Randy came in the other day and talked about a guy who caught a 54-inch muskie from 2 Mile.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
See, the whole problem is, once you start playing the video and I hear it, you always do it whenever I have something sharp and pointy in my hand. So I'm just like, if I just throw this just right, just like a dart, I wonder what part of him I will injure. Is it going to be a critical part that sends him to the hospital, or is it just like the first aid kit's over there?
Yeah.
Go bandage yourself up.
Holy crap.
No.
Holy crap.
Oh, you want to hear something else that's cool?
What's that?
There was, or has been, well, probably, it's more of, there was a Bigfoot sighting at the Kinzu Sky Bridge.
Dude, I saw that. And they're trying to analyze it before it's, like, completely confirmed, I think. But, yeah, I saw the one picture, I was like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that it was hanging off the...
It was hanging off one of the beams, like climbing around on the beams and stuff that are down below, that are like all twisted and stuff like that.
Dude, talking about Bigfoot, we've talked about it at the shop all the time. If you guys don't believe in Bigfoot, like, that's your personal thing, but, like, me and Shaun, when we were younger, probably around 15, for me, 15, you think? 17 for you?
I don't know. You're the one telling the story, so I don't know what your timeline
I don't
is.
know. But me and him were walking back through the woods. We were having a cookout at the church, just having a good time. And we used to walk the woods all the time, just because it was one of the only things to do in Pleasantville, like, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just to walk the woods.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Titusville is number 6 on the most boring towns in Pennsylvania.
yeah, exactly. But all of us boys went back there. My brother Josh and Josiah, both of them, they were back in the mud pit back there with Noah.
Yeah, they were back by the mud pit, yeah.
And the sand.
What were we even doing back there?
Me and you were just walking. They were mud wrestling. I remember because I came back very, very muddy. But me and Shaun were just walking along, and there was a big tree right in front of us. And I think, do you remember this one? Where a big rock, probably about like 10 inches in diameter, was chucked at the tree in front of us, and it hit that big tree, and it shattered.
And we thought it was
one of
them.
One of my brothers.
But then, like, we looked around, no one was... Sorry, my audio just cut out for a second.
What the heck? You must have just had the...
Technical difficulties.
Oh, if we have another one, I don't know.
Yeah, if the audio's bad on this one, guys, I apologize.
Dude, we don't know what's going on.
We're trying.
We're honestly trying.
I think it's because I'm sitting here playing around with the cord coming out of the microphone. Well, that's when the audio cut out of my headphone. And I was just like, I went from hearing myself to not being able to hear myself at all.
For a second. But yeah, so, back to the Bigfoot thing.
Any cool sauce. Yeah, we looked around, they weren't there, and then we heard them off in the distance still messing around. So we walked toward them, and we're just like, they couldn't have came over, messed around with us, and then went back.
Or through,
in like 2 seconds.
Through a 10-inch in diameter rock.
I mean, they can throw a 10-inch in diameter rock. It's not that big.
Yeah, true, but they weren't that strong to.
I mean, they all could have, but
to shatter it. That's the thing. To shatter.
What is that noise?
I have no idea.
Sound like there was a frog right on the microphone, like a bullfrog.
But no, like. Then we both just looked at each other. We're just like, yeah.
Yeah, we turned around and we got out of there.
We got out.
I was not.
We just turned
I wasn't
around
messing with no Bigfoot, bro. Like, I may be 6'7" and fat, but listen, I am not messing with the Bigfoot.
It probably thought that you were a fellow friend.
Probably, brother.
Your nickname for gaming is Bigfoot.
Yeah. I mean, I get called Bigfoot a lot. Just by, like, family and friends and stuff. But it's also because I have big feet.
Yeah.
But I'm not messing with no Bigfoot. Because homie bigger than me.
Yeah.
And way stronger than me. I'm Gucci, fam.
He's a real big bubba.
He is.
Yes.
He definitely is. I'm not messing with him, that's for sure.
I know one of the guys at the shop, not going to give any names, he was talking about a Bigfoot sighting. And, he said he was driving down the road to get the Rossville. What is that? Right down from the shop, turning to go to Oil City. I forget what road it is.
I forget what road it is, too.
But he's driving down that road. It's like midnight. And he said there's a car just stopped in the middle of the road. And he gets out to see if they're okay. And the lady in there was like in shock because she saw something come down a hill and take like 3 steps across the road, the highway, and go into the woods. And as soon as he got to the door, the woman asked, "Was that you?" And he's like, "No, I just got here. I'm just making sure you're okay." She was like frantic. She's like, "I saw something. It was very, very tall, and it took 3 steps across the highway." And
even I take more than 3 steps to get across the highway.
Yeah. And as soon as he found out she was okay, instead of going to Oil City where she lived, she turned and went back to Titusville. And
there's a lot of weird stuff that happens around here.
And yeah, but there is a guy who has a Bigfoot show in Titusville. It's actually on Roku. I think it's the guy who owns Thompson Run.
No, it's not. No,
it's not.
Mm. But another crazy story that happened. Brandy and I. It's late one night, and we are coming into town, and the cemetery that's out by the airport and stuff.
Yeah.
We're coming up on it, and next thing we know, we look over, and there's two people standing there in the cemetery, actually in the gate of the cemetery, not next to it or anything. They're in the cemetery. There's two shovels sticking out of the ground, and they're standing like in front of a fire, like a giant bonfire in the middle of the cemetery.
What the heck?
Yeah, and if you ask Brandy about it, she can confirm it. Like, we drive by, we see two figures, because obviously it's dark out, so we just see, like, the outline of their bodies.
Through the fire, probably.
Like, from the firelight and everything. So it literally went the fire, them, a shovel on this side, a shovel on this side, and then, like, the road. And we were coming up the road into town. And we just, like, we're like, what's that light up ahead? And as we got closer, we looked over and we're like, oh, there's just two random dudes standing in the cemetery in front of a bonfire with two shovels.
Yeah, that's not weird.
Yeah, no.
No, that's not weird.
What's going on?
What the heck?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
What?
So we don't really talk about it.
This is the first time hearing this.
That's because Brandon and I don't like talking about it because it's weird.
Yeah, it's like, what are they doing?
You just witnessed two people standing in a bonfire in the middle of a freaking cemetery.
Yeah.
And like, at that time, Brandy was watching the show Supernatural and stuff like that, and obviously
she was probably like, "Don't get me out of here."
Like, obviously, like, in the show they pour salt and gas on like the bones and stuff of a ghost and like burn it and stuff to get rid of it. So we're just like, what is going on? We're getting out of here. We're leaving.
Yeah.
And thing is, though, we went past there like a day or two later, and there was no sign that there was a bonfire there. Like, the ground wasn't burnt. Like, we drove by slow, like, you couldn't smell like smoke like you normally would.
Yeah.
There was no signs on the ground of a giant fire. There was like no signs that anything was dug up. Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird. Anywho,
Wow.
else?
Holy crap. That's kind of... Nah, we're just going to move on from that. What the heck?
Yeah. It's definitely weird.
Yeah.
A lot of weird stuff happens here in this small town.
Well, they always say that...
The smaller the town, the deeper, darker the secrets.
Also, they say Miller Road.
Miller Road. Yeah, Miller Road. And then, Miller Road Farm.
Miller Road Farm.
Yeah, there's an old cemetery that's back up on the hill.
Yeah, and it's one of the most haunted.
Have you ever been to that cemetery at night?
Yes.
It is terrifying.
It is very terrifying.
The night that I picked to go up there, obviously I didn't go up alone. I'm not stupid. Okay. We went up there and we had a headlamp. And we're going back there. We turned the headlamp off. You couldn't see anything. Like, we were standing next to each other, and we couldn't see anything.
No, I would go back to the car.
And, of course, it was a full moon. You had no moonlight anyways because you're in deep, thick brush.
Yeah.
And you have to calmly walk out because if you start running, you're going to trip over all the roots and everything that are exposed right before you get to where you start going down over the hill.
Yeah.
So we got back there and we're chilling, like being quiet, and then you just hear like twigs snapping all around you and stuff, and you're like, no.
And yeah. And that's one reason. Well, one time I was going down the road with a buddy, and I was in the front seat. And he said, "Yo, this is Miller Farm. A lot of weird stuff happened on this road." And first time I was on the road, and I just get these, like, it just got very cold, and I get these chills, and I was like, what? I feel like something's watching me. And I turn behind me, and I kid you not, there was a guy in a black cloak, like one of those like crow looking things from what the
Like a black trench coat.
yeah, black trench coat with the like beak on it. With,
Oh, like a plague doctor.
plague doctor, yeah, plague doctor.
Gotcha.
And with a old style lamp. And I look behind me and I'm like, yo, you have to keep driving. And he stops. And I look behind me and it disappears. And like, I don't know if this was just me, but like he drives off again and I look behind me and it felt like he was in the back seat.
Dude,
Like, have you ever had those like type of
have you ever been like just driving and then out of nowhere you feel like you're being watched?
Yeah,
and
dude,
just like,
it's so
is there
weird.
someone in the like in my back seat
Yeah.
right now? And you don't want to like turn and look because you don't know if there is or not. So you're just driving the whole time, like, okay. And like the farther, like the closer you get to your destination, you're like, all right, if someone's in my back seat and they were gonna hurt me, they were gonna do it by now.
Yeah. They wouldn't
yeah.
wait that long. I do not like that feeling.
Yeah.
It's like walking into a restaurant having to sit in the corner. And I don't know why you sat us right down in the middle today. Dude, I was paranoid.
It was, I mean, I was paranoid too, but A, there was so many people. B,
so many people.
I just wanted to get sat down. I was not sitting there gonna be picky about a table or booth or where we sat.
You just wanted to sit.
Yeah. But another Miller Farm Road story.
Ooh.
It's right there where you park to go up to the cemetery. There's that bridge that's off to the left.
Yeah.
Of course, it's nighttime again because all the fun stuff happens at night. We're standing there on the one side of the bridge right next to the train tracks. And, you know, it's quiet. You know, we're chilling. We're just listening to the wind and stuff. And then out of nowhere, you hear a faint, like a very faint, like girl's scream. But it's not like a, like, bloody murder type scream. It's like a, like, falling type of scream. And then you hear, like, a splash in the water. But it wasn't like a, like a reenactment of, like, no, someone jumped and, like, screamed because they regretted it. No, it was like a, I was pushed kind of scream. Like a caught off guard kind of scream. And that's what it sounded like. But it was very, like, faint. So you could hear it, but you're like, did I hear that right?
Yeah.
And then you hear the splash, and it was like a very loud, audible splash, like I took a giant rock and threw it in the water type of splash. So we go over and we're looking, and like I'm shining the flashlight all around. I don't see anything. I don't like see nothing. And it's at that point in the season where like everything gets condensation on it at nighttime, and on the one pillar of the bridge you see like a handprint, but it's like smeared like from the condensation. So it's like started here, but it's like almost like someone was pushing their hand was like drug with it.
No way. Dude.
And I'm not gonna say who was with me at the time because I no longer hang out with this person, and B, I don't really have a B, I guess, so we'll just go there.
Dude, there's one reason I feel like God has protected me from like put myself in those situations. I feel like we talk about this a lot.
We do.
But like I would not want to put myself in that situation now, especially that I have a kid, because people don't understand like those things can be attached like that.
Yeah. And like I get that. Like part of me still wants to do it. Like part of me still wants to be like, okay.
It's just
like,
I feel like it's just the excitement.
You're gonna sit there and tell me like there's nothing out there.
Yeah.
It's the fact of trying to figure out the unknown. Because you have so many people out there like, oh, I don't believe in ghosts, or I don't believe in spirits and stuff like that. And you watch all these videos, and like a lot, like some of the videos, you're like, okay, that's clearly fake. And then some of the stuff, you're like, maybe that is real.
And one thing too is like that verse in the Bible. I'm just paraphrasing it. Sorry if I get it like butcher it, but the ones who believe without seeing will be blessed, like beyond more. Like you're talking about like people saying, "Oh, that's not real." It's the same thing. People don't.
Yeah.
You can't. People can't see God, but you can see the works that He has done.
Yeah, and like another good thing is people will sit there and say, well, how can you believe in something that you don't see?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, you believe the wind is real.
Exactly, but it's there.
But you don't see the wind.
But you still believe in it.
You believe a polar bear is white, but it's not.
What?
You didn't know polar bears aren't actually white?
Are they tan?
No.
What color?
A polar bear's fur is actually clear. You want to know what color a polar bear's skin actually is?
Pink.
Black. Because black holds in sunlight and heat more. And since it's all, like, since their fur is clear, what happens when you put a bunch of clear stuff together? You can actually see it better, and it starts to turn white.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That fact you can also look up and know it's true. If I do get a fact wrong, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Most of it's true. Some of the stuff, if I get it wrong, it's because I forgot. Or
That
it's
is
because I read it
crazy.
somewhere. But yeah, that's fact number 2 for you guys.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
But you wouldn't believe it unless you did your research.
Exactly.
You have to do your research on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that's the same thing with
Same thing with
God.
With God, yeah.
You have to, if you are looking to have a relationship with him or looking just to believe in general, read his word, do your research, study other religions, and go
Well,
back to the Bible.
You reading the word is doing your research.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, you have no proof. But, okay, they found Noah's Ark.
Yeah, they found Noah's Ark. There's seashells at the top of Mount Everest.
You have the rock that was split that the water came out
From Moses.
From Moses. You can see where Moses parted the Red Sea.
And right underneath where he parted it, guess what's under it? Golden wheels from the Egyptian chariots. That is crazy. And they're still down there because
They say they found the crown of thorns.
I don't know.
I don't know about that one. Obviously, you have the tomb.
The tomb, yeah.
You have the place where Jesus was baptized.
Yeah.
They found the exact spot where Jesus walked on the water. If you guys didn't hear me, they found the spot that Jesus walked on water. I accidentally hit this, and I didn't hear myself, so I'm sorry.
For a second, you're good.
They're finding all this stuff out.
It's just proof.
Basically proving, like, okay. And some people are just like, okay, well, just because someone wrote it doesn't mean it was true. Like, you weren't there to witness it.
Then answer me this. Why did so many people die for someone who didn't? Okay, let me rephrase that. Sorry. Why do you think people would die for Jesus, for God, if they didn't actually believe in what he was doing? He died on a cross. They saw him. They couldn't, like, I know there's a lot of videos out there describing how Jesus was beaten, but they saw him get beaten to the point to where they couldn't find out if he was a male or female. Like, his intestines were probably hanging out. You could see probably...
What's that movie? There's a movie...
The Passion?
Is it The Passion? It's the
might.
one that is the closest representation and actually shows just how, like, brutal the beating was for Jesus.
Even the guy who played Jesus in that said that you can only do so much. That was the closest representation of what Jesus went through, but it was nowhere close.
There's
like,
also
he admitted it.
There's a TV show. It's not quite a TV show, but it's yeah.
I have not yet seen that part yet.
The guy that plays Jesus in The Chosen, he was in the middle of filming. I watched a TikTok on this, and it was like an interview by him.
Yeah.
He was being interviewed. He said that he didn't feel comfortable saying a lot of the stuff that he did because, like, those were holy words.
Yeah.
So he's just like, okay, Jesus said this. Like, yes, I'm playing Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, I can't say some of this stuff because it's so holy. And he was very going back and forth with doing it. And he was just like, I'm not doing it. I'm done. Like, I can't do it. And then he went to bed that night, and something came over him and was just like, no, it's like, basically said, like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to do this. So he continued on, and it's a really good series.
Well, one thing, Ashlyn actually asked me a question. She said, Joe, do you have to ask for forgiveness if you're making a Christian movie and have to play like a bad person? I was like, no. I'm like, these people are acting to show like something.
It's a representation.
They're representing something from the movie. They're not living it out. There's a difference between like acting. Wait, we're not gonna go there. But like if you're acting in like a movie and you're acting some different way, I don't think you would have to ask for forgiveness because that's not how you live your actual life.
If you feel convicted,
yeah, that's a different
for doing it, then go ahead and you can ask for forgiveness. But you don't have to. You're just showing something like you represent. You're being a part in telling the story of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to ask for forgiveness, but if you feel convicted by doing it,
you probably shouldn't do it if you feel convicted.
I mean, like, you not really convicted, but you feel bad for basically, like, how it happened to Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, say you're sitting there, one of the ones that were like whipping Jesus.
Yeah, I feel
like you would feel like you're like, dang, this is really what he went through, and we're just acting it out, and I feel this bad for doing it.
Yeah, dude. But the thing is, it's our sin that put him there.
Yeah.
And like I get teary-eyed whenever I talk about this, but like, just being able to play that part in The Chosen or in The Passion, whoever was beating Jesus in those movies, to play that part probably had to be the hardest thing to ever do.
Mm-hmm.
Because people don't realize, like, every sin is the same. Like, God counts them as the same.
Yeah.
Like, if you disobey your mother, it's the same as killing. Like, they're all judged the same. Their sin is sin.
Yeah.
And, like, so being able to play that part in beating Jesus and just realizing, like, our sin put him there. And, like, looking at what he went through.
Yeah,
like,
or even being, like, one of the ones that, like, were nailing him to the cross.
Yeah, dude. And, like, hearing him,
like, just imagining, like, the screaming and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Dude, like, just to imagine that, no. Like, whenever you actually say that, like, no, you wouldn't have to, but, like, you feel so bad. Like, that's probably between you and God if you had to act that part. I know I would. I'd be probably crying, like, if I ever had to play that part, because it means, like, so much. It just represents so much.
Fun fact time.
Fun fact.
Did you know that there was a group doing a study, and they're saying that most representation, Jesus was nailed to his hand.
Yeah.
They're finding, they were doing a study and stuff, that he wasn't nailed to his hand. It was right here, and they put it right there because you have, like,
more
right
support.
where your two bones meet.
Yeah.
It went right there, so it'd stop right there, and it'd be more support.
That's not a fun fact. It's a brutal fact.
Oh, yeah, and it didn't go through the top of his feet.
It went right here, didn't it?
They say that his feet were crossed over one another, and they went through,
the
like,
bottom
his
of the
ankle.
shin. Or the ankle.
Like the ankle, bottom of the shin type area.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
Because the weight of him going down wouldn't have been supported by the thin skin in your feet, but it would have been
just torn off
in your ankles and stuff.
And going off of that a little bit, my brother, Josh, he's probably going to be on here one of these days, maybe. But he recently went on a missions trip, and down in South Carolina where all the storms were.
Yeah.
And they went on a missions trip down there. Hezekiah came back on Sunday. You were there.
Yeah.
Hezekiah was in tears. He says, "We have it so good up here. People in America are struggling so much down there, and
Yeah, it was the hurricane, and we're up here like complaining, like, oh man, all this rain from the hurricane and stuff like this. Like,
they lost everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Like, but Josh was working down there, and he ended up stepping on one of those railroad ties, nails, one maybe even longer. Like, it was long, he said, but when he was talking about it, my dad used that in his message the next day, and he says, whenever you take a step out in faith, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt, and each step you take, it's gonna hurt, and it's gonna hurt until, guess what, that pain's gonna go away eventually, because you're taking a step out in faith. You know what I mean?
You're gonna sit there and you're gonna talk to God, and He's gonna tell you stuff that you don't want to hear.
Exactly. Yeah, He's gonna.
And you have two choices: either A, you suck it up and deal with it, and you listen,
and you grow from it, and you
grow
learn
from it, and you take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
Or B, you sit there and you're like, okay, well, I don't like the way you're talking to me. You act like a 2-year-old, and that's what you walk away again. And then later on, you come back, oh, I'm sorry, asking forgiveness and everything else, which, He will forgive.
Yeah.
But then you turn around and you're going to do the same thing.
Exactly.
And
it's honestly between you and God. But taking that first step, it's going to hurt. You're going to get a nail through your foot.
And that first step is 100% on you.
Mm-hmm. And it's 100% on you.
He will give you the opportunity to take that first step.
Yeah.
But it's up to you if you take that first step or not.
And that is kind of crazy, because Josh was actually telling me a dream that he had. And I'm not going to go too far in depth, but he said he was swinging a hammer. He recently just had this dream. And there's a big war going on. A huge war between demons and angels. And they were all fighting, just going at it. Josh said he was trying to kill these two demons, but he called on the angel, Archangel Michael. It was weird. He said he came down with like gold and silver armor and killed him. Then it repeated itself, and it just was on a cycle of him not killing those demons and having Michael kill him for him. Then all of a sudden it came back down to where Josh killed the demons, and then had to dig through the rubble to get his armor back. And through it all, he had a gold armor on and silver armor on, and he had his weapon in his hand. But like we were saying, is it's up to you to take that first step and dig through your backpack and see what you're carrying that you don't need to anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like, it's okay to ask for help.
It is okay to ask for help
to battle your demons, but eventually
it's gonna come down to where
it's gonna be you versus them.
Yeah.
Like, there's gonna be some where it's like, okay, that one's 100% you, buddy.
And honestly, in that dream that he was telling me, he said at the end of it, he wanted to help others fight their own battles, but God said no, because they have to learn to fight them on their own real quick.
Well, not only that, they have to learn to ask God for help.
Yeah, exactly.
Not like, that would be like me coming up to you being like, okay, hey Joe, like, the most you can do is tell me, like, pray about it, talk about it, like, but whereas if I just pray about it and talk to God about it, then that's when the help starts. Unless it's one of those, okay, you put yourself there, you're gonna have to do it. Like, prove to me that you want me and you want my help, and then I will.
Yeah.
Because God, He'll leave you to your own devices. Like, if you're going and, like, talking to Him, and you're like, oh, well, I need help with this, and sorry, guys. And if you do, like, oh, I'll start going to church more. Okay, boom, you don't really start going to church more. Okay, then you come back, you ask for another favor, help again. he helps you. You don't live up to your end. So it's going to get to the point where he's like, all right, I helped you figure out what the problem is, but you're going to have to battle it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And once you battle it yourself, and then you turn back to me, then I will, start helping you out more. Like, he's still going to be there for you and help you, but he's going to make you do 99% of the work.
Mm-hmm. I forget who said it, but they said that because they did not listen to God when they were supposed to, that God shut that door, and they had to go through a time of trial.
Mm-hmm.
And God already knows what's going to happen. He already knows what you're going to get do today, tomorrow. He knows what you're going to do next year. And he knows what you're going to do. He wants you to learn through your mistakes, for one. He wants to be there for you. He's always there for you. It's just, if you're just going back and forth with God, do you think he's really going to listen?
Like,
it's about that relationship.
He'll listen, but he's going to listen
with a grain of salt.
He's going to listen to you as well as like a 2-year-old with a iPad sitting in front of him. Like, he's listening. Like, he's hearing you doesn't mean he's listening. Whereas if you prove that you want him and him by your side, then he'll go from hearing you to, okay, I hear you and I'm listening.
Yeah. And I feel like that's mostly for people who've known God basically their whole life. I feel like that, but people who don't know God, like, I feel like God just puts a scenario and, like, shows himself to them.
Yeah.
I feel like people who did not grow up learning about God actually grow to be stronger Christians than most Christians who have been in church their whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then I want you to think about this, Joe. Have you ever been put in a hard time in your life and you pray to God about it and it seems like it doesn't, like, nothing happens?
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well, it's a test.
Mm-hmm.
You know why sometimes God doesn't talk to you during those hard times, during those tests?
Because he's the closest to you. No.
Teacher doesn't talk when you're doing a test.
Exactly.
You get the reference?
Yeah, the teacher does not talk.
Yeah, if you're, like, say you're in school taking a test, teacher's not going to walk around talking to you randomly or give you every single answer.
No.
He'll still be there watching over you.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of guiding you.
He's the shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
He is our teacher.
And you're the sheep.
Yeah. It's just, like I've said before, surround yourself with people.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you can do. Surround yourself with people who are going to drive you closer to him. Just keep on digging to him. He's not going to let you down. He's never going to let you down. He's always going to be there for you. But you got to quit playing patty cake. You got to quit playing patty cake.
I have something else for you to think about, Joe.
So,
have you ever heard a person say, oh, well, like, everything goes right for me, you know, like, I have no problems, everything seems perfect, all this other stuff?
Those are always the ones who have the most problems.
No, like, I'm being, like, legit. Like, it seems like this person's life is, like, perfect.
Yeah, because they're in the hands of the devil.
Yeah, you know why? Have you ever thought it as sometimes the devil doesn't give people problems because they don't want that person turning to God at all?
Exactly.
So if they're like, oh, well, everything's going perfect, so I have nothing to thank God for.
Everything is given to them.
Everything's given to them.
Everything. The money. Everything.
Yep. Whereas you have
Why
us that
would
are
they
going...
need God? Because they already have everything.
Exactly.
I've already thought so much on this.
And then you have us, like, okay, we're being tested, we're going through trials and everything, and it's, okay, like, God help me through this one. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
Oh, you graced me with this. Thank you. Whereas now you see this person, oh, they're literally getting everything they wanted, but you never see them thanking God.
Exactly. Because they actually do not truly worship God.
Yeah.
And you know, one thing, I think you remember hearing the song that it's not even complete yet. It's, send me a wise man to teach me about you. Send me through the trials so I can hear you in my darkest time. Nobody in their bright mind will ever ask to be sent through the trials. And I'm not going to lie, ever since I wrote that song, like, I've been getting hit. I've been going through the trials. But guess what? I can still hear God.
You know
I
what,
can still see
You know
his
what that verse is, Joe?
Huh?
You know what the verse is?
Huh?
And God said, "Who shall I send?" And I said, "Here am I, send me." You're asking to go through the trials.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking to go to the fight.
Mm-hmm. Nobody asks to do that. Nobody wants to go.
Today's culture, no
No.
one's asking.
Nobody's asking for it. But I feel like if you are asking to go through it, God is going to bless you because you are putting 100% trust in God. Like, when you go through the trials, you got to know that there's victory on the other side. That there's victory on the other side of the darkness.
You got to look at it as well. So back in, like, the 40s and stuff, World War II.
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor happened.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was signing up. They were lying about their age to
Exactly.
go. If that happened today, you know how many people are just like, I'm not going. I'm not going, no. But there's going to be those very few that are like, I don't care what the restrictions are. I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
Send me over.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with, starting a relationship with God.
Yeah. Just send me. Like, send me to battle.
Send him to.
Yeah. Send me to do your will, God.
Like, I know they're going to be tough battles, but I know you're right next to me.
Yeah.
And I can call upon you if I get into a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
But most people don't realize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It got deep there. It got deep. It got deep.
It did.
It got deep. But I don't know,
Any
man.
hoozles.
Any hoozles. But
I got any grip, man.
A little bit. Before
That one was for you, Debbie. The knee grip.
Yeah, the grip.
The knee grip there, mate.
But before we end this, I know Shaun talked a little bit about doing call-ins. If anybody is interested in calling in, let us know.
Yeah, if you
we need ideas, honestly.
If you want to do a testimony, awesome,
Yeah.
cool, great, you can do that. If you want to do just like talking with us,
Yeah, just
chilling,
talking,
hanging out, that's fine too. Or if you want to do a second date update where we call the person that left you hanging,
Yeah.
high and dry, or if they dine and dash. If you just got, like, if someone took you out and they dine and dashed on you, please call us.
Yes, please.
Please message us. You can reach out to us. Okay, you're gonna have to leave your name and your number, and what you want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
You can reach us on Instagram. It is, I think it's HollerBoys_official.
Yeah. I think it is too.
You can message us on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
HollerBoys official, obviously, because some of you guys will be seeing clips of this. Leave a comment on the YouTube video.
Yeah. Leave some comments.
If you just get a hold of us some way, like I said, just leave your name, your first and your last name, and what you want to talk about, whether if you have a testimony for us, if you just want to share a story. Yeah, prayer request.
Yeah.
I love second date update. And then leave your phone number.
Yeah, leave your phone number.
And we will reach out to you, so then that way we can tell you.
Yeah, and tell you when it's going to be, what the topic's going to be on, if we have one.
And then that way you're not getting a random call and you're like, oh, who's this person? Click.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if you don't answer, we're moving on to the next one.
Yeah, we're moving on. But we do have merch.
Check it out.
Fourth wall, just look up the Holler Boys official.
Holler Boys
on
official
fourth wall.
On fourth wall.
You'll see the Holler Boy logo, the Holler Boys logo. Go get yourself some. Remember, all proceeds of that is going to go right to the youth group at Pleasantville Community Church up in Pleasantville, PA.
The only time we touch it is to give it to the church.
Yep. I owe the church $30 because I didn't realize the money went into my bank account, but I'm holding myself accountable and saying I owe the church $30 to go right to the youth. So I'm going to put that in probably Wednesday. But
what else?
What else?
What else are we forgetting? We're forgetting something. We gotta plug something in.
If you guys have any topics you guys want us to talk about, go for it. Drop it down. We'll
Drop
do
in
our
the comments.
research. If you've made it this far in the podcast, we thank you.
We appreciate you
We
guys.
really do appreciate you.
Remember, you are loved.
Yeah, you are loved.
You do have a purpose, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You, me, a midget at a circus. We all have a purpose.
Purpose. Shaun, do you want to end in prayer?
I'm not very good at the prayer part, buddy.
Not really good at the prayer part.
I'm not very good at the prayer part.
You
'Cause,
your
like,
private life.
Then, like, no. I don't know what's up with it, but, like, if I start praying out loud, I start stumbling my words so hard.
Because you don't know what to say.
Well, there's that too, but, like, I already stumble my words because sometimes I get ahead of myself.
Yeah.
My brain registers that I already said the word, so, like, I start mixing in the next word with the word I'm supposed to be saying.
You're
But
good.
for some odd reason, when I pray out loud, it's worse.
I feel you.
It's not like I'm not just sitting there going, it's like I'm like you cannot understand me. So the prayer part's all hold on, let me I gotta take my head off. I gotta take my head off, you know.
Hey, I appreciate y'all coming on out.
We both appreciate y'all for coming on out. You can't just sit there and say I appreciate you.
We both appreciate
Dude,
y'all
what a
coming
wiener
on out,
move, man.
listening
What a
in
wiener
to the
move.
podcast.
What episode is this?
6.
Anyways, thank you for coming back for another episode.
But hey, let's end in some prayer. God, I pray that you would put your hand on the situation that our viewers are going through, God. That if they're looking for a light, God, that they would find you, God. That someone would be sent their way to preach the gospel to them. God, I pray that you would just bring peace onto their life, joy, and just have them know that if they are in a time of trials, God, that it is okay, because when there's trials, there's victory at the end, God. I pray that you would just bless them, be with them, and shine your face upon them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
On that point, guys, thanks for tuning in the Holler. We'll see you guys next